It's 28th of February. Out doing a little shed hunting. Cameras were showing they're mostly dropped, so got quite a few miles to cover. Got the new shed dog. Been training her, Molly, our beagle. She's been doing really good at home, but she wasn't feeling real good today. I wish she was here. I got a good wind right here, and I just looked down. Here's a nice split buck. This is the buck we had on camera this year. He's cool. Got some nice mass. I'd like to see if I can find that other side though. Got to be somewhere close, you'd think. Kind of funny how that works. You slow down when you find an antler, and I don't think I'd have found this other one. It's pretty blended in, but not too far down the same trail. He's got another sticker on it too. Heck yeah! Look at that. There they are together right there. That's a nice deer. Yeah, that's that same 9. I had him in the early season on the licking branches. Hey, Molly. Got Molly out with me today doing a little stand set. Man, we got a nice cool front roll in, so taking advantage of that. Putting up a couple stands. I'm excited. This is actually one of the spots you can actually get away with an all-day set. It's a good rut funnel. Just getting it in here early. Gonna go ahead and open up one of my mock scrapes over here too. Not gonna add anything to it just quite yet. Throw a camera on it, I think, though, because we're just now getting close. Actually, August 1st tomorrow, so we're about a month away from really getting those set, and should be getting hit pretty hard, you know. Anyway, we're gonna keep moving. Got a few more of these to do. All right, well, here it is, mid-August, out here setting up a couple different scrapes. This is actually one that's been established. Set it up a few years ago, and basically what I do, you'll see the end. This is this limb here I brought in. It's an oak from last year. You can see underneath that, they'll basically take that first initial scrape branch that I make, and they'll bust it off so high that it ends up being unusable. I've got several others in here, but that's just not a desirable type of tree. So what I do is I go and I cut a couple little spots where I got oaks. These are some white oaks. I usually cut a couple for scrape limbs. These bur oaks are good. See how they kind of lean out? It's a big long one there. I think I'll take it. Just use the old silky saw here. That's a good one. That's a good one there. That'll be a perfect licking branch I can take up into some country where we don't have oaks. This time of year, I try to get in here. I'll get the dirt. I'll basically get all this. I got my weed eater with me, so definitely gonna make some scent. That's not a huge deal. Try to do everything I can as far as the overhanging limb, but we'll get the ground torn up here and get it all ready. They'll just basically have a spot where they can visually see it, and they'll remember when it comes time. That's at least my thoughts on it. So I'll finish wiring that up, but one big mistake I think a lot of people make is they'll put them up way too high. This right here, you know, I mean, it's right here about chest high probably for me, but a lot of people envision these monster bucks just having just huge bodies, and they're just super tall, but they're really not. They want it down there where they can really get that preorbital gland on there. Just really get to work in that. But anyway, they'll break this and it'll end up snapping and hanging down, but it'll probably get broke. I'm gonna end up wiring it up there to where it'll be held on there a lot better, because they'll work it pretty good. But got a camera spot back here that I'll throw a camera on it, and it'll just sit year round. I don't try to get in here. It's just taller, grassy stuff. I just leaving scent near these once it gets close to it. It's just not worth it. Just keep it fresh, and you don't need the confirmation they're gonna use it. All right, this little runway right here, this is just a good little rut funnel. Kind of goes parallels right in here. I got a ladder stand sitting here. It's actually a good spot. I just got to get creative, and I'm gonna try a little something different on this scrape. I've kind of toyed a little bit with some of the vertical hanging, but I just wired this last oak in this spot. I just want to see, because I've done it out and over, but they really prefer those downward and outward hanging limbs. So we'll see. It's kind of an interesting setup, but I'm gonna clear the ground here. Got the weed eater ready, and I'm gonna get out of here. Well, bad things happen when you break out the chainsaw. Wasn't a chain, but see all that brush behind me? That's been bugging me. Same little corridor. Had the saw out. I was planning on just taking out a little bit of this cedar right here. It was hanging over, and there's a bunch of others all clustered up and kind of blocking a trail, but Went ahead and now I've got the lower limbs cut on this cedar enough to where I'm gonna get the weed eater in here, really get that down to dirt. And like I said, this is a rut only, so we're, you know, where the other spots I try to get out of there by the 1st of August. These I won't be hunting again for a month later, so get them set. Connect that scrape there with that newest one over by the truck. That's the hanging scrape I just did, so should be a good little corridor. All right, finally got another good windy day in here. Actually just driving right up to a couple scrape setups. This one here, I set here about a month ago. It's got a nice wind here actually just to come in here, slip in, get some buck fever on it one last time. I'm gonna put some, actually some pre and post on it right now. Well, this is probably the best point to break into this video and explain a little bit. It's taken me a long time to even really sit down and start editing this because to be honest, I'm pretty sick about it, and it's a good lesson for everybody about backing up video and precious memories. What happened, I actually had a hard drive that I kept in a fireproof safe, and I only got it out when I edited, but the problem was I had it out editing and had an accident, and I knocked it off of the table and it hit hard on the floor, so wouldn't recognize it on my computer, sent it off, tried to get it recovered. They were supposedly the best in the country, tried to do that the best they could, and told me it was unrecoverable after I had what they said was an 80% chance of recovery before I sent it in. Went ahead and sent it off another place, get a second opinion, same thing. So pretty much devastated. More devastating is all the family videos, sports, years of footage, and I've got some backed up. I still have to go back and try to go to my recovery discs and some of that I've done, but it's been a couple years since I did that, so I know I lost all the recent stuff. Tons of hunting footage. This buck here comes through, and you'll see that the only footage I've got is what I did with a cell phone of me watching it at home. Luckily I did that. I've got some basically cell phone video of my GoPro footage plus the main camera, but after that point all my footage from there basically to the beginning of the season is gone. So we pick up after this miss. I'm pretty shook up, and I still can't even tell you exactly what happened on that miss. You watch that back, and I mean, it's a chip shot. I'm right here down at the scene of the crime. Actually, that cedar tree that I'm freshening in the video is right behind me here, and I've got this little tunnel area that I talk about with the new scrape. He was heading right to it. It kind of caught me off guard, I'll be honest, where he approached that morning, and my stand's basically right here. He approached and came right into that scrape where I couldn't see through that cedar, but I looked down and there's a deer in the scrape. Well, I didn't immediately recognize it was him, so I wasn't all gathered. And anyway, as it is, he finally kind of works to go to this other scrape and come by my trail camera here, and I'm scrambling. You can see in the video I kind of quickly get my stuff together, and you know, I feel like I settled in pretty good, but I don't know if I can even replicate torquing the bow that bad. And you can watch it, and I feel like I punched the trigger or do something, but I remember immediately after the shot I thought I had an issue with my release, and I tried. I went home and shot probably 100 arrows trying to figure out if it was a release, and it wasn't. It's something with my form, but I don't know how your form can get off that bad. I've just never really had that happen. But anyway, good lesson to always go through your shot process, and I shot a lot after that, but I'm going to do my best to kind of put the timeline into process here. After I missed that buck, I hit it extremely hard between a couple different stands trying to hunt that buck that I call Mr. T, and had that miss. I just, in my mind, couldn't believe it, but I knew that, you know, he wasn't that spooked after the shot. but I hit it really hard. And the devastating part is I had several really good bucks and some awesome footage. Had just a beast of an 8 come through, and he worked the scrape like crazy. Came over, worked both of them, matter of fact, and actually decided to take a loop. Well, we had a bunch of west winds, which is perfect for this setup, and actually got quite a bit of chasing and action. Just didn't have that buck back again, so I was kind of bouncing around between stands, and like I said, just pretty much dedicated to him. While I was getting really worn out on it, I just kind of was like, I don't know, it's just not meant to be. I need to lay off for a little bit, or started even second guessing, thinking, well, maybe it's meant to be. So I decided to go on the morning of the 15th. I was like, I'm gonna go have some fun. I'm gonna grab the kayak and go into just a piece of public, just to get my mind right, which was really cool footage there that I lost too. A couple awesome encounters. I did a cell phone video, one good encounter there with a nice buck, and actually I'll show you that right now. Did is I cleared my SD card from that camera and put it on my external hard drive just to make sure I backed it up. Well, lesson learned, you really need to have 2 spots to back it up too, and that's not as safe as I thought. So I had my camera at that point, the 15th, the evening of the 15th. My card was in my camera. I didn't put it on my hard drive before that incident, so I've got all of the 15th and forward. Yeah, it's crazy what a little mental break will do for your morale. And I'd been hitting it hard and trying to go after Mr. T after I had that mishap, and had a little fun and went back on some public, a little kayak adventure. But man, I really enjoyed doing that and had those awesome encounters. But I was kind of settling with doing that same thing that evening, and was going to go try to sit on somewhere new and kind of closer to food and just trying something different. I was heading down actually where I'm at right now, one of my favorite back roads. Just kind of, a lot of times I'll make my decisions as I'm going down these. I'm fortunate to take them pretty much where I hunt, but I was coming down this back road and just happened to look up ahead, and there in the trees was a cardinal. He takes off out of the trees flying, and was kind of following my truck. And my dad, I got him into bow hunting a couple years before he passed, and he always told me he wished he'd have done it sooner. And those nicer days, he'd say, turning more into a fair weather hunter. And he used to always say when we'd be quail hunting or deer hunting or whatever it was, where there's redbird, there's deer or quail or whatever. So that's always been special for me. And right then I was like, you know what, Dad, if you're going hunting with me tonight, I think I'm just going to go after Mr. T. And I made the decision and went right back in there, and you'll see what plays out next. Stuff actually works. I've had deer walk across my boot tracks and used to always get picked off. Don't try to set up where they're walking your trail, but just in case, I use this. The other thing is a cattle pasture. I make sure to step in a fresh one every time I come through here. chance. I got a good mock scrape here that I'd like to check the card on to see if he's been in here, but it's warmer conditions. Low 70s is not good for deer hunting, but this morning was really good. I imagine the mornings are going to be good, but you got to be here and catch it between does. And there's a couple bucks in this area. I was on a different side of this spot yesterday, and neighbor on way over was cutting firewood, which actually should have helped this spot. I actually heard it again this afternoon when I was getting out of my truck, but it's got to get stuff bumped around a little bit. I mean, anything can happen overnight too, so it's that time of year. You just got to put the time in here. There's a lot of other spots I'd love to be inventorying, but not a lot on the radar this year. And after my mishap the other day, I've kind of got to get a little payback, and there's a couple other good bucks around this area too, so never know. Man. It was dead calm here tonight. Had some deer chasing back here behind me. Matter of fact, there was a doe really quiet back here. I think she had something on her. And just like a big buck does. I don't even know. Just like a big buck does, though, that deer was paused down in this creek forever. Take a few steps, stop. Man, I was gonna wait and try to grind him up to this scrape. November 15th, I told you there was a guy cutting wood on the neighboring ground, which helps. Just takes one night. Oh my goodness. I absolutely smoked that deer. After messing up the other day, that's perfect redemption. I saw him go down in that field over there. I didn't get much footage there, I'm sorry, Ed, but I don't even care. Yes. That lighted knock over there. You know, it's even crazier. It's like just about didn't come back here after that mess up. Been hitting it hard. Made a tough call today on a buck. And yes. I'm gonna call the family right now and celebrate here. What a beautiful evening. You can see that moon coming up there. It's just starting to get into that phase. I was getting nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I've been hitting it hard. Well, you can see that licking branch right behind me. It's been getting worked over. I gotta show you it actually, because it's crazy how much these play a key part of my success. Bring in this Oakland. Man, that one's been getting worked. And those does hit it daily, and there's definitely one in here. I'm so glad I made the decision to come here tonight. Track. Oh yeah. That never gets old either. Well, I know I should follow this blood trail, but I think I'll come back tomorrow and do it. I'd like to get up here and see if I can see him here before it gets dark. I think he's right out here in this native grass. He's right over here. Oh yeah. Yes. That's Mr. T. That's the buck I missed the other day. Wow. Look at that. Yes. All right. Yes. Now looking at that beautiful sunset right there. That just puts it all together. It's starting to kind of be a grind, you know, and I know better than that. That's the rut. You never know when it's going to turn right back on. He must have been in between does and seeking again. Pretty sure he's a 4-year-old and got matching set. Actually, you know what's crazy? I've got a match set of sheds that I've found probably no less than 50 yards from here. Maybe 50 or 75 yards from here. It's crazy. Match set. He's laying right here. I'm just so blessed. I'm super lucky. My family just puts up with me this time of year and can't thank them enough. Actually, I'm gonna go meet him right now. So they're gonna help get him out of here. Get the truck up here and do a little celebrating. Just about dark, and I'm making my way back through here to that other stand where I messed up on the 11th. Right down that little tunnel. I call it my scrape tunnel. Gotta thank my uncle for letting me hunt here. It's been awesome, and that's set up a little bit for cattle, but I utilized a little bit for some scrapes, and they love it. So it's just nice enough security in there, and I'm pretty fortunate. This moon out here is pretty bright. It's only going to be getting brighter.
You go 1, 2, 3.
Got my tracking crew.
Shot him there. Dad, you shot him right there.
Well, if you'd have said I was going to be sitting behind him here on November 15th, I'd have thought you were lying. Actually, I made a mistake on him on the 11th, and it's kind of to the point of maybe letting him go another year, but I was going to try to hunt him, and if it worked out, great. If not, no big deal. But tonight he was seeking, and there was a doe in here that was getting harassed, and I think he was heading to the party, so got pretty lucky. There's how he got his name right there towards the end of the summer. He's got this kind of a triple point right here. Kind of looked like a turkey foot. Ended up settling on Mr. T is what I called him. Anyway, pretty lucky. He's broke off one little point here. I remember on the trail cam it wasn't too much, but just a really neat buck, and heck of a season, really. You know, passed up a couple other deer after him and had some fun, but feels good to put my tag on him. Pretty lucky. Got my crew out here, my tracking crew, and just missing Brenna. She's usually with us, but she's busy in high school. And now Lane, he's hoping to get out, so pretty awesome. 2021 in the books, and couldn't be happier. What a beautiful evening. 70 degrees. You wouldn't have ever guessed we'd be sitting behind one with this weather either, but that just goes to show weather's not as big of a deal. They're going to go the same time regardless, just whether you're going to see it or not. I'll be interested to get back home and pull the sheds out. We put on quite a bit this year, but just a beautiful buck. It's amazing what they can do in a year. He's a great buck. I'm happy to put my tag on him. Got to thank my wife and kids for letting me get out. Really push it pretty hard, and time to make up and do some family stuff.